Focus. Fly. Keep going.
Hey, what's going on, car guys and car gals? This is Lou Ramirez, the car guy.
And this is Frelin Arts, the subprime hero.
And we are brewing solutions on the Car Guy Coffee Podcast. Thank you so much for joining us on this incredible Thursday night.
Special edition, special brew for you folks.
Yes.
We have somebody special in the cafe today.
Super special.
Oh, somebody
special, so special, so special.
Very special, right? So we're so excited because it's somebody we've been getting to know the last few weeks, and it's somebody that we're going to be able to hang out with here soon and go do a show with. And I'm excited to be able to produce something that's going to help them get even more energy out there. And I'm excited to promote this person. We're talking about somebody who's got a story that is unreal. Somebody that is honestly so humble, doesn't even really think that her story is that like important. But when you really listen to her story, know where she comes from and how far she's come to get to where she's at today. And this is just the beginning for her. The story is amazing. It'll really make you think, I'm not doing enough in my life. I can do more. What excuses do I have for the reason why I live the way I live? I can be better. So her story is inspirational. I think that people need to hear this story. I'm excited to share her story. I'm excited for this 5-liner. Lou, what you thinking, brother?
Well, I'm thinking that you car guys and car gals and all you solutionaries out there need to do what I'm doing right now. Grab your little handy dandy sharing device and share. Tag a car guy, tag a car gal. Get a solutionary right here inside of this cafe, because there is an incredible brew that's about to be poured inside of your cup. Amen. And you need to come and sip it on up. It is that time where we get ready to bring in a solutionary that has been around the world. And
Yes.
Listen, folks, there's somebody that has seen things that you would only hear inside of a book. You would only hear on the Car Guy Coffee Podcast. You would only hear about if you are actually somebody that's looking for inspirational people to hear things from. And she's one that you can catch on a stage at the next event that you're probably going to be at. She'll probably going to be holding a microphone.
I'm sure.
I'm just telling you. But
she's on her world tour right now.
She is. She's
I
on
love it.
Tour. I'm excited. I'm excited to be a hype man. Yes.
Definitely. I'm pumped up to be our hype man right now. I can't wait to introduce her and get her on here right now.
So we got to go ahead and get this rocking, car guys and car gals. Now that you have shared, now that you have showed that you truly, truly care.
Come on now.
We are going to do what it takes to make sure that we bring in a special guest on the Car Guy Coffee Podcast. None other than the one, the only Lyamen Savy.
What's going on? Oh, so honored to have you here tonight. Thank you so much. Look at that smile.
You guys crack me up. You are hilarious.
We have.
Am I red? Because that's what I feel right now.
Your cheeks are as pink as that is your blouse right now, or your dress. It's hard to tell which one it is, but you look great tonight. Thank you so much for being here. We're so excited to share your story and to learn much more about it. Yes. Like get the details, the deets as they call it, right? And I'm pumped up. I love what you've done, and not just in your personal life, but in your business life. You know, you compare to each one of those is very amazing stories. You can go with one or the other. You could write a book all about your personal life, or you could write about your business life, and each one has a great story, and it's still like an open-ended book. So many things are going to be coming for you, and I'm excited to hear about it and see it and watch it happen too. So welcome to the Car Guy Cafe, as we call it.
Thanks, guys. So happy to be here.
Well,
and I'm in Seattle, so coffee is our thing here.
Oh yeah, that definitely
no doubt
is a staple of that section of the country, and we're just so thankful that you're here, folks. There is an incredible story that is about to be unpacked inside of this entire session that we get the chance to just listen and glean from. An incredible American story, right? Somebody that has come through and has taken advantage of the opportunities that this incredible land has given us and affords each and every one of you each and every day. She is here to show you why it is that people seek liberty here and make incredible things happen with it. Lyamen, I am so honored that you are here today. Everybody that's watching has been speaking about this actual interview happening tonight, has been talking about the incredible person that you are. So just know that your reputation precedes you. Everybody's saying some incredibly inspirational things about you, and they are pumped up to share what it is, or to hear about you sharing what it is that makes you the you that you are. Absolutely. So do us a favor, those of you that are joining us tonight on LinkedIn, on Facebook, go ahead and drop us a coffee cup emoji. Go ahead and give a cheers to Lyamen as she gets ready to enjoy this 5-liner. And also, you know the deal, find out what it takes to keep growing. I'm pumped up to have her here tonight, and I'm pumped up to have you. So get some of your friends in here.
Share. Make sure you get them in here. But folks, you know, he's just talking about this land, this beautiful country we live in. You know, a lot of people talk a lot of bad things about this country, but if you've been anywhere else in the world, and you know that nothing is perfect, but this country can bring you your dreams, can make your dreams happen. You know, what I love is in her story, and I want to just throw this out really quick. She got her citizenship in the 4th of July. Right. And I think that's really cool. And I think that's a good mark to get your citizenship. Right. That's Independence Day for our country. But she stated in her article that that was her Independence Day also. And I think that's beautiful. And I'm so congratulations that it happened on the 4th of July. I don't know. What year was that?
I can't remember. I was 18 years old. And Fred, did I tell you how I became a U.S. citizen? Did I ever tell you the whole story?
Oh, no. Go ahead. Drop it. Let's go. I want to hear this.
So I have identical twin sister. I think you knew that. Mm-hmm. So, you know, I like identical twins, not like a fraternal, identical twin sisters. So in Azerbaijan, when parents get a divorce, the mother automatically gets the custody of the kids. In the United States, you actually have to go to court. You know, there's paperwork, you know, that says who gets the custody of the children. So when my mom brought me, my twin, here to the United States, she never had that kind of paperwork because it doesn't exist in Russia, or at least back in the days it didn't. So when it came time for us to get our citizenships, we were being interviewed by, you know, the INS people. You know, they interview you, and the person who interviewed my sister was a different guy who interviewed me. So the guy who interviewed my sister, he's like, "Okay, you're approved. Here's your citizenship." The guy who interviewed me said, "We need paperwork to show that your mom didn't kidnap you from your dad." And my mom was like, "The paperwork doesn't exist." And so he's like, "Well, how do I know you didn't kidnap her?" And so he wouldn't give me the citizenship. So my mom actually had to write to local Seattle news publications here, like Como News, Q13 News, and everybody. So IRS doesn't hate nothing worse than a negative PR. So immediately they came back, they reopened my case, they re-interviewed me again and said, "Okay, here's your citizenship." But imagine 2 twin sisters, the same father, the same mother. One gets the citizenship, one doesn't. And apparently, because you know, there's only so many rules that could be written in the immigration law books that says, you know, what are the rules? Because there's so many edge case scenarios. And so sometimes the immigration officers has to use their best judgment. So I guess the guy who used his best judgment said, "No, you don't get a citizenship." The guy who used his best judgment, my sister, says you do. So they were so sorry for not giving me a citizenship. They gave me a citizenship on 4th of July with the ceremony.
That's when you deserve it, because that is, you know, that is the trial and tribulation when you get into this country, you know, and especially during the time, you know, and congratulations. I think that's awesome. You know, I think that is neat. I just love that you said that it was your Independence Day. I thought, I was like, man, that is so cool. You know, how neat is that? But that story, folks, this is what I mean. Like, now we're getting the deets, right? We're getting the details here. I'm so excited to hear this. We haven't even got into the 5-liner yet. We haven't even forgive, focus, fly.
We haven't yet. But before we do that, let's say hello to some people that are already.
Let's do it. Yeah, there's a lot of amazing people.
Show some support for
Absolutely.
You, and excited to hear what it is that you're brewing tonight. Timothy Wilson, thank you, brother, for jumping in here. What's up, fellas? He says, brother, thank you for always being here to support. You're going to love this brew tonight. This is a rock star.
Timothy's joining me on the 75 Hard Challenge starting on Monday.
Get you
He
some.
got his membership. He bought the book. He downloaded the app. I'm going to hold you accountable, brother. We're going to get it done. Let's go.
Let's go. And beautiful people like Wendy Reeves is joining us tonight. Good evening, Wendy. And then our brother from another mother, the giant, the gentle giant himself, Mr. Terry Torline. Our brother is joining us tonight. Thank you so much for being here. And Amanda, our sister from another mister, thank you for joining us. Solutionaries are rising up.
How many more rhymes can you come up with?
It. Oh, there's a whole lot. Like my man Stan. Sure, what's up, man?
My man Stan from another man.
Stan. That's right. Oh man, I need to work over here on my man. Here we go. Let's go, Eric. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. You're going to be so happy that you did. We're pumped up that we have just a little bit of time with this rock star that I know that if I met her first in person, I probably wouldn't be so quick to just run up and just speak to her, just because it even seems like you command such a like a royalty.
Literally, when we saw you at the restaurant, and then after the restaurant was over, we were at the hotel bar, and I remember seeing you, and I remember going, well, that's somebody too important to even go talk to right now. Like, I didn't want to interrupt your conversation because you know that's how you hold yourself with high regard, and I feel that, and that's awesome. And it's not that you don't seem like somebody that's off, but you were being talked to by many people because everybody wanted to talk to you, and that's because you command that, and that's amazing. And I'm so glad that I'm getting to talk, because next time I see you, I'm like I told you, I'm hugging you. So there is no. Oh my God, why did I even think that? I should have just walked right up to her and said, "Hey, I want to say hi. I'm Fred. Nice to meet you."
Exactly.
That's who I normally am. But no, it was a great night. That was a great night too. I wish I did talk to you, because that would have been nice to meet you and Cindy that night. Would have been
great. Yes. So much. But listen, everything comes in good timing. Like right now, yes, you should make some coffee, Stan.
That's right, Stan.
This is a good time for you to brew a solution and get you a cup of the good stuff, okay? And join my man Jay, who's always saying what's up to some car guys and car gals. Thank you for being here tonight and talking about making the night a better night. We have my man Brad. What's going on?
Too late to be drinking coffee.
It's never too late. Never too late.
Not that I like to keep working and doing my thing. I'd like to be caffeinated and awake. All right, so let's we have Jay. What's up, Jay? And then of course they put in the coffee cup emojis. Amanda,
we are ready to rock.
Let's get this thing going. Let's do the forgive, focus, fly. Let's get this thing, the secret handshake. It's time. Yes. It is time. It is so time. So Lou, go ahead and break it down, my friend.
All right, so again, these keep growing assets of forgive, focusing, and flying are something that we believe every solutionary that we've ever interviewed.
He said solutionary,
right? Okay, I've been doing doodle talk, right? I've been doing baby talk, doodle talk, so much. But every one of them have these traits that they've applied inside of their life, whether they've known them or not, whether they've known that they've been applying this particular combination or not. They have been wiping off the weight of unforgiveness in order to free themselves up to focus on where it is that they want to go,
right,
and then releasing themselves in faith to fly, and then pumping it up so that they can keep growing and taking other people up as they raise up as well. So Lyamen Savy, tonight you are going to forgive, focus, and fly on the Car Guy Coffee Podcast. And I am so excited about this. Let's go ahead and get this rocking. So on 3, join us as we forgive, focus, and fly together. Go ahead and cross your hands on your shoulders. This represents the weight of unforgiveness that we got to wipe off of our shoulders. So on 3, forgive, focus, and fly. 1, 2, 3. Forgive,
focus, fly, and keep growing. Keep
growing. There we go.
You're awesome, my friend. You are amazing. You are part of the club now. I'm so excited to have you in it. That is our secret handshake. You are now a solutionary, my friend. Officially a solutionary. You've always been one, I'm sure. So with that being said, welcome to the show. Let's get this thing going, folks. We just got some details. I don't know if you guys have been watching it since the beginning. We got to hear more about her citizenship and how it went down and how crazy getting your citizenship can be when there's 2 exact identical twins that go in, 2 different people investigating it, and one says yes, the other one says, I don't know, I don't think so. What? Stories are identical. Everything's identical. So that being said, I'm so glad that they made the right decision, gave that to you. I'm so glad you're here today because I'm excited to talk about what you have done. We talk about these 5 questions that we have. The first one is my favorite one, like all of them. I keep saying this, but I think it is my favorite one out of all of them. And it's because it tells me a little bit about you, what drives you and what gets you motivated, because that is the question. What is your why? What motivates you every single day, Lyamen, to be the best version of yourself?
Wow, that's a deep one. We're going deep right away.
Get at it. That's a straight shot. Let's go.
And it cuts like a knife.
What motivates me? Recently I actually read this book called How to Do the Work. And it was, it's now one of my favorite books. And, all my life, I believed in therapists, life coaches, career coaches. I believe you should always outsource to subject matter experts. And as much of coaching and, personal development I have gone through, after reading this book, I've actually uncovered something else. And I don't know if you guys were familiar with this term, but there's a thing called childhood trauma. All of us as kids, we experience something. And especially up to the age of 7, up to the age of 9, those are your most, important years. And so, growing up in the Soviet Union, growing up, being very poor, especially, coming to the United States with my mom and my dad, they didn't speak even a word of English. I mean, my mom spoke a little bit of English, but barely. And, I saw how much they struggled, living on food stamps, on a Medicare, just, going to Salvation Armies, getting clothes donated and everything else. I never wanted to struggle like that. And my biggest fear is being dependent on anyone. And, the great thing about America is that we're all very independent here. Mm-hmm. And, one thing that not a lot of people know, but sometimes I do talk about it, sometimes I don't talk about it because, it's a very personal thing, but I hope it inspires other women out there. So my mom, she was actually married to a guy who was abusive. And we actually had to run away to Florida. And when we ran away to Florida, she actually didn't even have college education. She barely had a high school education. And so now imagine she's with 4 kids by herself in a brand new state. She ran away from him and she took us all. And she still didn't. She survived. But I saw how much she struggled. And I remember one day very vividly, we're in Florida. My sister and I, we wake up in the morning. She sits us down by our dining room table. And she says, you know what? She's like, I have 4 kids. I don't have enough energy to discipline you guys, and be on top of everything you guys are doing or punishing you guys. If you don't want to go to school, don't go to school. You're going to suffer like I do. If you want to do something better, go to school and get an education. That was the best pep talk she ever had to give me. And so I've ever since that day, I was so into school and education, collecting knowledge, because education is something that nobody can ever take away from you. No matter what happens, you will always have your education. And so for me, I'm actually the first woman in my family to have 2 degrees, not 1 college degree, but 2 degrees. And, I did it all by myself. I paid for it. I worked all day during the day. I went to school at night and I got my 2 diplomas. And, no matter what happens, nobody could ever take that away from me. And, my mom in many ways was inspiration because, so many women would actually stick around with the guy who's, abusive because, they have 4 kids and they have no college or high school education, they're in a different country. Like, what do you do? But she was strong enough to run away from him. And so that's my why, is that I would never be dependent on anyone.
Wow. That is a powerful story. That's super deep. I'm buying this book and I'm reading it, by the way. You've given me suggestions on books now, and I have to read a lot of books during the 75 Hard Challenge, so I appreciate that. But knowing your story even more, congratulations on being the first woman in your family with 2 college degrees. Unbelievable. That is amazing. Just being not even just a woman, just being a person that has 2 college education. That's to be able to educate yourself and knowing that it'll never be taken away from you. That is true. That is what drives you. And I see that, what I tell you is I said this to Luz when we did our first meeting with the whole group, for the NIADA, and you started asking questions that none of us were asking. And I was like, oh, wow, she's super smart. I kept thinking that. I told that to her. I was like, that is a different side of the brain. That is a different way of thinking. And that comes from you training your brain so well to think of things that are not normal. This way, you can, okay, well, what if this happens? You think of that so fast because you've already troubleshot everything in your brain like that. And you're like, okay, well, this could be a problem. So how can we fix that? And that was like, to me, I remember sitting there going, because I'm that happy. Yeah, let's do it. All right. I'm a happy lucky person, right? You are too. And don't get me wrong. You were very, and I could see your passion.
You are super
but you understand, you calculate it. You're like, boom, what about this? And I was like, Wow. Yeah. What about that? Tell me.
So glad she asked.
So
she said yes.
So you earned that, and you've worked really hard. You've done some amazing things with you having that power, right? By using that as a power, superpower. And that why is very important. I think all of us need a why to be able to drive ourselves every single day. When you wake up, you have to have that reason why you're getting up. You have to have that reason why you're going to work. You have to have that reason why something that makes you uncomfortable, you see the end result and you know why there's going to be an end result. You've earned that and you've worked that. And that's great that your mother had that speech with you. My mother, obviously, she's an immigrant from another country, also South Korea. When she came here, barely spoke English herself. She's very much on that, taught me the same thing. You need to educate yourself. You need to be smart. She wanted to always be a gentleman. Always, when you're in public, there was so many things she just was big about, traditional stuff, and just so boom. But she was like, you just want to be better. All they want is us to be better than them. Right. That's it.
Parents always do. The kids, we don't realize it. We think our parents are mean and they don't understand us, but our parents lived a life. They know something. They know.
Yeah, and that's amazing what your mother did, and that's brave of her for her trying to leave and go off and do her thing and do it with and to leave somebody in another. Once again, you're in a country you don't know anyone, and go all the way from one part, the northern west part of the country, all the way down to the southeast part of the country. That's a big travel to make and a big commitment. So it's scary.
No friends, no one. She just did it on her own. She's doing it.
She traveled across to another country and came over here. So I'm sure she was like, shoot, this ain't nothing. Right. So, but still very brave, and I'm sure that showed some other things to you. That's amazing story. I didn't even know that part. So that's one of those things we didn't get to read about. Right. So I'm glad that you're telling us this, but with that, you've had some drive. Now you are the CEO and founder of 321 Ignition. What a great company. I'm absolutely just loving the more I learn about what you guys do and what you can do. It's amazing. And who you're helping now. You guys are really doing some stuff and really starting to expand very fast. And it's because of who you are, your story, believe it or not. It's your story. People are loving the story, but they also know that because of that drive and how much work that you're going to do that in all facets of what you do. Having that type of why is going to drive you to always constantly be working towards that next thing. And I love that. You've made goals in your life. You've done a lot of amazing things, at 2 degrees, being the senior global marketing manager of Microsoft, right? That's how awesome is that? Being the customer obsessed employee. That is huge. That is really amazing for doing all the work that you did there in such a short amount of time and transformed how they did business. That's amazing. So congratulations on all those accomplishments. And those are just really, honestly, I know for sure. I just know it. Those are nothing compared to what's going to happen over the next 5-10 years. You're going to do some even more amazing things. So I'm excited to see the story. But Lou, brother, sorry, I could tap on that forever. I got notes for days.
Yeah, she's definitely lighting up the industry right now. And that's it's just actually becoming of the name, right? 321 Ignition. She is getting the fire started inside of the industry. It is what everybody finds so many different reasons why maybe they can't accomplish something. She finds every single reason why she can and why she can do it greatly. The understanding that the education is as valuable as it is, having mom prod you inside of that. Again, a founding father of ours, Benjamin Franklin, says that the investment in knowledge is the one that pays the best interest, right? Mm-hmm. And if we understood that,
so freaking true.
We understood that, right? That it's going to compound because it's also generational. That education that you get is generational, and then you can pass that on to other people. But you've started to create a culture inside of your company, inside of your relationships, and it's permeating. It's permeating into now our circle, right? You're coming into the group of people that are trying to make sure that we let everybody know that it's not gotta be as hard as we make it to make business successful. It just doesn't have to be, right? You literally 3, 2, 1. We're gonna keep this short, right? 3, 2, 1. That's it. Ignition begin, right? That's something that the industry has been waiting on, is for simple answers. The industry also kind of likes to gear towards that, right? Especially us car guys, right? It's got to be simple. You got to be quick about it. I don't want to think about it too long, and you can't overrun me with jargon I don't get. That's just the car guys. I speak for all of us, right? We want to get to the deal ASAP with this little fluff in the way. But this takes different eyes from different angles. The biggest problem with the car industry is that it's ran by car guys in most cases, Okay. And I'm saying that as a car guy.
It's true.
Right.
It's very true.
We often don't take a look at where it is that we need to improve because we're so great at what it is that we do. Right. We just are so great at it. But letting other people jump in here that come from major companies, come from major problems getting solved on a whole other level, that's not just making the commodity move, right, to making connections with people, understanding how they think and how to market accordingly. That's what you're bringing to the industry. What is it that made you shift into the automotive space?
Well, what made me go into it is just pure accident, because I was helping one of my best friends who worked for a car dealership since she was 17 years old. And, the more and more I kept helping her just as a friend, like she wasn't paying me or anything, just except, hang out with me, we're, best friends. And the more I uncovered so much fraud with a lot of agencies, how they weren't being transparent or how they weren't setting up tracking correctly to show the ROI. Then I started uncovering all these third-party widget providers, who weren't actually providing a full solution, but just slapping on another widget. And then I, uncovered how website providers were just really, really outdated and were so expensive for what you were actually getting from it. And so it was just by pure accident. But Fred and Lou, one of the things that I've actually uncovered that's even a bigger problem in automotive is that software companies, they don't actually play nice with each other. They don't integrate. They don't. Everybody's very closed off. And I mean, like today, again, I had another experience where I'm talking to one of the companies about integrating with us and doing API integration instead of just like an iframe widget or whatever. Sure. Because iframe widgets, it's a poor user experience, a poor customer experience. And this agency, this company, a software provider, I'm not going to name names, but I'm going to leave them out. But, the conversation, here I am talking to their CTOs, talking to their CEO and everything. And they're like, Lyamen, why should we integrate with you? And I'm like, well, first of all, because, it's going to make your product better. It's going to make your product stickier. And he's like, well, do you want revenue share? I'm like, no, I don't care about revenue share. I'm like, I'm a software provider because, website platform is a software. I'm like, the only thing I care about is one, to make sure consumers have the best car shopping experience. And two, make sure dealerships are, able to compete against Carvana's and CarMax of the world and all those, giants, So as a result of that, of course, 3-2-1 ignition wins because then the product becomes stickier and everything. But this guy, the comments he was making on the call, it was just mind-boggling to me. Like it was almost like, we have this many thousands of dealerships. You guys are newer, why should I care? And it's almost like, male, thing. And I'm like, you should care because you're a software provider. And his whole idea is that, you guys are smaller because we're newer than they are. They've been around for, 10 plus something years. But I'm like, don't you care about providing your dealers, your customers, a complete solution instead of providing them a point solution that only does one thing? And like with the Roadster acquisition and everything, I was talking to Cliff Banks, and he was saying it was a strategic acquisition. The reason why CDK acquired them is because DMSs, they need a stronger integration with the digital retail tools. But the fact that it took a freaking acquisition to actually get an integration done, like, what does that say to us about our industry? It's there's such a huge problem here in the software world, in automotive, by the way, only. I haven't uncovered in any other industry.
That's crazy.
And I'm not going to name names, but there are companies who actually are trying to charge us like $5,000 per month just to do API integration. I'm like, you should be thankful I'm trying to integrate with you. I'm investing my resource to integrate with you. I'm not asking for revenue share or anything. I'm just like, let's make your product better. Let's make dealerships life better.
Solution.
But they're all just thinking about like, how do I make sure that I keep everybody else out? They're not really thinking about dealerships. They're like, that's why dealerships are so behind, why they're so outdated. But dealerships are 10, 15 years behind compared to every other industry out there. Their CRMs, their DMSs, their everything, their websites, their marketing, everything is so outdated. Like, when I first went into automotive and I was trying to do the integrations with the CRMs, to pass the leads, and the CRM providers would tell me like, one CRM provider, I'm not going to name names again, actually told me, he's like, I'll send you a disk for our CRM. I'm like, what do you mean a disk? My computer doesn't even have a way to put in a disk. And then he's like, well, send me your FTP login credentials. I'm like, FTP? I graduated with web design degree class of 2000. That's when we were using FTP. You're still using FTP? I'm like, what do you mean FTP? And then, with the CRMs, we're all using XML and ADF, which is, by the way, not even a secure way of passing data. And when I talk to them about APIs, it's like no CRMs in automotive have API integrations. Try to go outside of automotive. Salesforce, PipeDrive, like you name it, the Dynamics CRM, the Zoho CRM, like all of them have an API. That's like table stakes. For you to be a software provider in any other industry, API is table stakes. And in automotive, they're sitting there and saying, I have 10,000 dealerships. Why should we be integrating with you? I'm like, how do I even argue with that? It's like,
wow. That's crazy that's the kind of experience that you're having when you're doing that, especially in this industry. And I actually don't think why I say crazy. That's obviously that's what's going down. That's why this industry is suffering. That's why Carvanas and like Vrooms of the world are starting to take such a market share and really making a huge splash, especially over the last year and a half. So it's like, why? Because of that. And you're right. Here's the thing. We need to find solutions for dealers. So if you guys, as what you do for a living, your job is to help dealers, not help yourself. It does end up helping yourself. But if you find a solution, if you find solutions, you do it right, it's going to grow.
Instead of being afraid of protecting my market share, I'm not going to let anybody else out. Instead, we really need to be thinking outside of like, okay, ultimately, automotive is behind. They're at least 10, 15 years behind. How do we help actually dealerships to actually innovate and break through? I mean, Carvana, the reason why Carvana is so successful is because consumers want an easy experience. They want the Amazon experience. But, why is digital retail tools are actually still just another lead gen form instead of really a checkout process? It's because digital retail companies are not able to do a full integration like they should be with DMSs or CRMs. Why is it? Why are all the CRM providers not allowing building, API integrations? Like that is table stakes, people. And, the crazy thing is, my background is technology. And, I deal, especially working at Microsoft. Microsoft is huge in partner channel. Like they have, I think, 140, 150,000 partners. I mean, like an average, software company might have like 4,000 partners, maybe 1,000 partners. Microsoft has 150 or 140,000 partners. Wow. They're a partner-powered company. And they're a global company, multi-billion dollars worth of company. And by the way, there was actually research that was done because there's a company, I think it's called IDC, that does the partner channel research. And they talk about a partner channel ecosystem and the domino effect. So for every $1 that Microsoft generates, their partners generate over $9 in revenue because of their ecosystem. Salesforce, the same thing. For every $1 that Salesforce generates, their partners generate $4 or $5 because of their ecosystem. So in automotive, we think we're protecting our market share, but really what we're doing is we're hurting dealers.
Right. I agree.
We're hurting consumers.
I agree.
And we're actually not, instead of actually thinking we're protecting, we're actually becoming more dinosaurs. Like any company who doesn't integrate, who doesn't have API integrations, I can't imagine more companies like me not entering automotive and actually disrupting and doing this and saying, hey, Lyamen, let's partner, let's do API integrations.
I want to partner with you after all this. Oh my God. I could sit here and I want you to teach me. I want to educate. I'm taking so many freaking notes. It's unreal right now. But seriously, you're 100% right. It's like that, not just in technology and automotive. It's also the way we train our salespeople. It's also the way that we speak to customers. It's a shame. And it's a bad problem. It's the good old boy. It's the good old boy days, right? We're not good old boys anymore. We are human beings that are helping other human beings. So all the way from the top down to the bottom. So if you're doing the right thing, you're solving problems in which you are figuring out ways to make sure that wow. I just can't believe that how bad we are out of whack when it comes to technology in the automotive industry. We definitely need to get that stepped up. And I'm so glad that you're making a huge splash and you need to talk about this stuff. And there's no doubt listening to you, I'm sitting here, my brain's going, wow.
Yeah, like, wow.
It's just knowledge, dropping mic knowledge.
So how in automotive, we all talk about digital retail. That's the buzzword. Outside of automotive, what people actually talk about is digital transformation. It's not just the digital retail. Digital retail is just a checkout button. The real buzzword should be digital transformation. How do we do everything digitally? And the only way for dealerships to actually go through this digital transformation is for its software companies to actually play well with each other and provide a complete solution. Like during the COVID, during the pandemic, Satya, the CEO of Microsoft, was actually talking about how a lot of software companies that were planning to move to the cloud or planning to go through the digital transformation, and it was supposed to take 7 years. But during the COVID, that 7-year digital transformation, actually, a lot of companies were forced to go within 3 months.
Wow.
Except automotive. Automotive, besides all of us buying this, digital retail buy now button, we haven't really gone through a lot of transformation yet.
No, not even close.
So true,
It's not even close. What the problem is that, like, I think that for most places they're like, oh, I don't need a machine to show me how to sell a car. I don't need this. No, it's not that you need it. It's that the customers need it. It's not about you anymore, folks. It's about what the customers want. Just like she's talking about, it's about what the dealers need. It's not about what you're trying to sell the dealer. It's about what they need right now. They need to catch up. They need to get into the 21st century and help customers the way the customers want to be helped. Yeah. And she has that solution right now at 321 Ignition. And I promise you, she'll be able to make sure that you have a streamlined way. It's mobile based. Hey, and I love it. It's great. You have so much passion about this, and I'm so glad that you do. I guess my next question would be,
so Fred, I mean, that award that I won at Microsoft for Customer Obsessed was for a reason.
There's no doubt.
It's that when you put customer first, your company wins. Microsoft, when we put our customer first, that year we doubled our Office 365 customer acquisition goals when we thought that we wouldn't be able to. We thought like we've maxed out, our potential. The more we scale, the more less we become efficient. And guess what? The minute we increased clarity, the minute we improved customer experience, we doubled our growth and we reduced our cost per acquisition. So it was cheaper for us to acquire those customers. Always put customer first.
It always makes sense to err on the side of honor. No matter what, if we put our customers first by way of honor, if we put our relationships with our business first by way of honor, and if we make sure that our client to dealership or our vendor relationships are in line, then we are fully operating inside of an honor-filled culture that is going to create an ecosystem. An ecosystem where we all get to build, we all get to grow.
Ecosystem, baby.
And everybody enjoys it.
And even though I'm not going to call out the vendors who are software providers who are not good at partnering, I am going to give a lot of props to my favorite companies like SpinCard. We have an API integration with them. They were the first ones to actually jump on the call with me and say, Lyamen, what do we need to do? Let's build this together. That's awesome. Let's make sure that our dealers are actually having the best, because SpinCard is a 360 company. And they were amazing. Like we were on a call with one of our customers, Chillicothe Truck and the SpinCar, and we were like, okay, how do we make this better? 700 credit. We have API integration with them. And I'm investing my dev resources doing this. I'm like, yes, if it's going to improve the customer experience, let's do it. Let's build together.
Keeping a central focus like that, folks, is how you lead customers into making good decisions. And if you stay on the posture of leading customers into making good decisions with the best tools possible, then everybody's life is easier. Everybody's experience is better, right? The person providing the service, the person receiving,
and your own. How great is it to be a person that's helping people? That feels better. Like I'm not selling you, I'm helping you. I am literally helping you, and that's what you're offering these companies who are denying it. Oh, I got thousands of clients. I don't need you. You're a woman that has only a few clients. You just started in this game.
Fred, it's funny that you say that because the guy who actually said that, his name is John. Talk about the typical, automotive,
Hey, yeah, that's it. Probably sounded like that too. I don't know. Hey, buddy,
okay, John, I got it.
Yeah, got you. You don't need him, and guess what? Eventually, he's gonna crumble down because he can't change his way. You have to be adaptable in this world today. Every single day there's something new that's coming in. Technology is faster than we could ever imagine. It's crazy but we need to use it. And if you utilize it right, it can really help. Like you said, it can really change everything up for everyone, and do it the right way so clients can feel like they're secure, that you're doing it good. And I honestly love that you're a customer obsessed employee. That was at your award, because that's totally the only way to be. And that's why you are where you're at right now. And you're going to keep being that. And man, there's been some great people jumping on here. I have another question I want to ask you, but before we do, there's somebody else that's just jumped on that asked a good question, I thought. It's a great job, Lyamen.
Hey, Justin.
Many industries are figuring out how to use their sites as customer funnel to generate sales and conversions. What are your thoughts on improving this for dealers on their websites?
I mean, the dealership website is a sales conversion. It's funny because every time I talk to dealerships, they all think they have a website traffic problem. They think the only way for them to generate more leads and the only way for them to get more sales is by spending more money on marketing or, doing SEO. They're all like the first thing that go, how about my SEO? How about my SEO? I'm like, listen, you guys, you don't have a traffic problem. You have a conversion problem. You have a leakage in the funnel. People are coming to your website and they're immediately going to the marketplace websites like Car Gurus and Auto Trader. Why are they going to those websites? It's not because, they found different inventory. They have your inventory on those websites. They're going there because those websites are mobile first, because they do have different kinds of integrations, APIs and stuff like that, instead of just, pop-ups and iframes and stuff like that. So dealership website, it should be actually a funnel. And Justin, I think you're also referring to, we also have lead machine type of funnels, specifically for paid media strategy campaigns. But but overall, the biggest problem dealerships have is they're not converting their existing traffic. And of course, one of the problems, because their websites were built for desktop and people are coming to dealership website on their mobile. So that's a problem number one.
Hello.
100%.
Hello.
And by the way, mobile first websites is not a new technology. That's not a new concept. It's been around for 15 years at least. Zillow has been around for 15 years. They've been a mobile first company for 15 plus years. And
Are you sure? I've been in the automotive industry for 20 years. I haven't seen mobile first stuff. Are you sure that's been around that long? I'm just kidding. I'm just saying, but it's true. And you're right. We are way behind. And you're going to bring us to the future. I know it. I really am. Man, what a great question, Justin. Thank you for asking that. Great answer. Thank you so much. So that brings me to my next one. I know as you're coming up, your mother gave you great advice, say, hey, listen, you can quit school now and struggle like me, or you can go to school and be everything you want to be. Right. So what a great advice. I know there's been some other people that have touched you in your life, that have helped you along the way, that have given you advice, that have been mentors. If you were to pick one, or maybe two, three, or however you many, this is your show. We just want to, who would that person or persons be?
Oh my God. So the first of two people come to my mind. One is my best friend, Ginger, and she's one of my rock stars. So she's also an entrepreneur herself. And I remember at that time I was working at Microsoft, and she and I were going a little power walk in downtown Kirkland here by the beach and everything. And, we're talking about our careers because, we always share career advice and things like that. And she's like, Lyamen, you need to go out and, start your own company. And I'm like, what do you mean? I'm like, I have a refugee mentality. I need a guaranteed paycheck. I need, 401k. I need, all this, stability, the things that, as a child I didn't have, living on food stamps. And she's like, you could do it. And so she really pumped me up, and just like, I think that walk was like an hour long walk. And she was just like the entire time saying, you could do it. It's like, you're smart. I can't remember all the words that she was giving, but she really was the first person to actually, push me and say, you could do this. And then I have a most amazing life coach and a career coach. Her name is Cindy Kroger. She and two other ladies, they started Empower Coaching Company, and they're actually former GMs of Microsoft. And so Cindy, she climbed the corporate ladder. She was a GM, and, she also has kids. So she's a successful woman, both family-wise and career-wise and everything. And so there were many, times when I was like, I don't know what I'm doing in my career. And she was constantly, helping me throughout, climbing the corporate ladder. I think she was my coach for like 8 years. And then also when I decided to actually start my own company, she did a lot of visual exercises with me to help me, kind of clear my mind and say, I could do this, to help me build the confidence. So if anybody needs a life coach, call Cindy. I'll give you guys her number. That's
awesome. That is good to know. Good to know. I got her name written down. That's for sure.
Well, cheers to them for inspiring you.
No doubt. Better. They obviously are amazing people. Ginger, amazing Ginger. Thank you for getting her encouraged to go out and do this, because then this would not be happening right now. And the changes that are going to be coming into this car business would not be coming because or maybe it would, but it'd be later, probably another 15 years, right? And then Cindy, way to go. And congratulations on all your accomplishments too. Thank you for naming them too. I'm sure they love that and probably know that already, because I'm sure you show them plenty of honor and love all the time.
Guys, one of the things that if whoever's listening, especially if it's a woman, I hope that one of the takeaways is that you guys will get a career coach. Especially, with women, a lot of times we put our family first and think about, well, I need to, pay for braces for my kid, or I need to buy a new couch for my household and whatever. We always put ourselves last. But really, your happiness, your mental happiness at work with your career is one of the most important things in your life. We spend more time at work than anything else. And, I went through a lot of coaching. And so one of the things I always talk about is having board of advisors. Who are your board of advisors?
I love that.
So if you think about any company, whether it's a dealership or any company, we all have, board of directors, board of advisors that we report to every single month, every quarter, saying, here's how our business is going. And we need to treat ourselves as a corporation. So when I was younger, I used to actually joke around and say, I'm a Lyamen Savy Incorporated. I'm a corporation. And if I was a corporation, who are my board of directors? And my board of directors are my career coach, my life coach, my therapist, my best friends, my twin sister, My, so those are my board of advisors, and I report to them every month and tell them, here's how I'm doing professionally. And so, career coaches are expensive, but you're going to be spending 40, 50, 60 years working. You might as well make it worth your while, to be happy with your career, to feel like you're progressing, you're growing, you're making something of your life. Like, what's the point of just having, getting up every day just to go to work for the sake of going to work? Anybody could get a paycheck. We live in a freaking America. Like, it's easy to get a job here. But you have to enjoy what you're doing, because once you enjoy what you're doing, you never have to work a day in your life. Like, I could be up till 4:00 in the morning working on websites and coming up with new strategies. I don't think that's work. I'm having so much fun. Like, I could be at Starbucks on a Saturday working on spreadsheets and pivot tables, and I'm like, this is the best happy hour I've ever been to. Like, it's because I found what I love, and it's because I've always had career coaches all my life. Like, you have to invest in career coaches.
Wow. I totally agree. And I love that, because it kind of talked about, like earlier you had mentioned, the dealers, and dealers are like, and even this guy that John, right? I don't need your help. I got 1,000 customers. But anyway, that being said, even a guy like that, they need that. They need people in their lives. They need to team up. They need somebody to coach them and understand. It's great for a dealer to use vendors that way. It's like having their board of advisors. I don't just have people work for me. They work for me in different ways. But I agree with that. I agree with having different coaches. I've mentorships. And then also returning the favor to other people one day. Like, I'm sure you do too. I guarantee you are. And because you have a lot of advice you can give people. There's no doubt.
Good point. If that John was to actually go and get a consultant and advisors, board of advisors outside of automotive, those advisors probably told him to pull back Lyamen and say, like, okay, sorry, let's play nice with each other. Here's my
I was just playing with you, Lyamen. I just want to see how you react. I apologize.
Exactly.
Tell me about your thing again.
Yeah.
What's that thing?
What's that one thing again? But no, seriously, you're right. It's because you have to have that. Sometimes it's when you think your own way for a while, it works maybe for this year. But if you keep using that same thing, it may not work even next month. So you have to always have people that are that are advising you. Even gangsters in like the old movies had their people who advised them. You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't just, I'm not just the Godfather, but I have, what's that word that the
concierge.
There it is, right? The concierge. They had those. They had people who helped them make decisions, because decisions sometimes are hard on yourself. When you put all the pressure, it's only mine, and it may be the right decision. But when you hear advice and you know that from other people who've been through that and seen that and done that, and they say the same thing, and you're like, good. And it's good to have that. And sometimes maybe your thoughts are wrong, and you hear this, you're like, you know what? That's way easier for me to do it that way. Yeah. It's not cheating. It's called shortening. It's taking people's life experiences and their experience in business and all the mistakes they made, and you don't have to make them.
Yeah.
Because they're going to advise you on what to do and what not to do.
Yeah, I mean, if we just want to hear somebody to validate what we think, then yeah, sure, keep consulting with people who think just like you. But if you actually want to really disrupt and actually make a change, and if you truly actually want feedback, then go outside of people who think differently and ask for their feedback on it. I really believe in diversity. And by the way, talk about diversity. When I started, helping my friend with the websites, one of the things that I noticed, and by the way, I was buying a Mercedes, and I think I still have a PTSD from this experience. So I was trying to buy a Mercedes, and I'm a girl. I don't care about the engine size. I don't care about anything. The only thing I care about is, how does it look?
Yes.
What does it look like? And so the only thing I cared about is white exterior, beige interior. Every Mercedes dealership website that I went to. And the crazy thing is, on the search results, they all show me, like in the description, exterior color. I'm like, why are they showing me exterior color? I could see the color. I'm looking at the photo. But none of them actually showed me the interior color. And the only thing I cared about is having a beige interior, because I didn't want a black interior. It's too depressing. And so the only way for me was to be able to find a white exterior, beige interiors, I had to open unique windows. And so I had like 30 open tabs just to be able to see what color was the inside of the vehicle. Wow. And like, talk about, that lack of diversity in building websites. Whoever was building those websites is definitely a man, because he doesn't realize that a woman cares about an interior of the color. So I'm like, okay, I know that 60% of car shoppers are female. I'm adding that freaking interior color on the SRP page, so going out and really expanding, and the way people who you get the feedback from outside of your industry, it's so, so important. Not even outside of industry, but gender, like go get a feedback from other genders. Like, I mean, on that call that today I had, it was, I think 7 people, they're all dudes, so I wonder how a woman on that call would have actually, maybe handled that call a little bit differently. So diversity is so important. We have to have diversity.
I agree.
Lack of diversity prevents innovation.
I agree. Like I was, it's like that you hear, like when you go in a room and if everybody looks and acts the same, you're in the wrong room. There's obviously no diversity. There's nothing changing. It's probably a very boring, bland place to be. You want to have diversity. I'm very fortunate in my life. Being a military brat, I was around diverse people my whole life. So I love culture. I love being around that. And when I get around where it's the same, I kind of get like, to me, that's awkward when everyone's the same. I'm like, what's going on? I'm walking out. So I prefer that, but that's the same way I would believe in like my sales teams. I love having a diverse sales team. I love having a diverse group of people around me. My son, he hangs out with a whole bunch of different cultures, and I love that. And I encourage that all the time. And, so it's good to have that because different ideas come from different cultures and different thoughts. Being a female, you may think of it a different way, but also being a female who's originally from Russia, who's an immigrant, came here, you think of it differently too. You can keep going and going on how the way your aspects of how you come, like, for example, April Simmons, she was on the show and she said that memories are the filters for perception, right? And that's what it becomes like as you do things in life. So everybody has different memories and everybody has different filters for what they perceive things to be. So you have to see all those different filters. And sometimes you see it one way, but like you said, they didn't realize that they need to have interior color. They would have seen it the other way, but that's their own fault. They don't know. That's the guy made it. This is the way I would look at it. But you, on the other hand,
I'm sure they probably had a UX UI designers that were females, but somehow they all missed that important feature.
Yeah, who knows who it was, but they did. That's a very important feature. And honestly, I'm a man and I want to know my interior colors. I'm very picky about that kind of stuff too. When I buy something, especially like a Mercedes.
With your jacket with those lines, that's a pretty stylish jacket there. Clearly, you care about fashion and design.
I do love nice clothes and I do like to dress up a little bit, but I do like, I'm the kind of guy who'd wear this with t-shirt and then I'll wear like a pair of Jordans with it. That's just me. I like that kind of stuff, but I will also put on a nice pair of Italian dress shoes or something too. I'm all about all that, but I do believe that when it comes to my stuff, I want my stuff to all look right. It's righteous. Even my guitars that I buy, I want to make the right color. And I want it to be this or whatever. And when it comes to shoes, it's out of control. I love shoes. I love shoes. I am very much on that. So that's why obviously I like interior colors too. I got a feminine side and that's okay. I'm very proud of my feminine side.
There's a part of that is also just seeing over the years. I know how Fred looks at it too, because he has a great woman beside him that he does look at what it is that he's looking at and says, well, what do you think of that? He gets right. He gets an honest opinion. Usually he gets the opinion that he'll sway into the right way. She gets his flow. She gets his understanding. She'll also bring the correction, right? It's fun to hear that. I get it too.
You see, the most important thing is that Fred doesn't go to his son, another guy, and ask for opinion. He goes and gets a second opinion from the complete opposite point, diversity.
That's right.
Yes.
That's right.
Always.
If he was just asking his son, he probably would have looked like a mess. But instead, they got a diverse feedback.
Exactly. That's why we have to have that. But that's the next part, is having people inside of your life that you trust with that.
Amen.
Some people that are fully committed to making sure that the best you is what gets presented forward, that the best version of you is what it is that you're bringing to the forefront. And whether it's your wife, a business partner, your employees, or those that you're serving, it's very important that you allow a communication, a two-way street of communication, to be able to jump in there to where you can make yourself better. My friend Brian Ortega, right? He says that iron sharpens iron. It doesn't happen because there's no friction, folks. So many people want to create what we would consider a frictionless process, right? Well, if there's no friction, you're not going anywhere. You're slipping and sliding. Nothing's happening, right? There has to be a sense of traction. Creating the traction is what allows ignition to even happen, right? Everything gets moving as soon as that fire gets started. Then that engine gets what it needs to start creating that power to get the traction going. And inside of your life, you've teamed up with a lot of people to help you get to where it is that you are now. You've been through some big obstacles. You also have seen cultures like crazy. You've seen extreme different cultures to come here into the American culture. You come from a culture of the corporate smart world that the auto industry doesn't understand the correlation that's happening with the understanding you guys have of how people think, buy, shop, and do things. You've seen it on a whole other level, right? For car guys, we're like, nah, man, they want this. They want to be at this payment. These are the monthlies they want. This is the this is how it's going to go. And you know what? You better make sure you have your husband, or you better make sure you call your wife, because we need to keep this going, right? That old school stuff has to go. You guys know why they're there. You know what they were doing. The data that's out there for us to utilize is mind-boggling and almost creepy. Okay, how much data there is out there that dealers have access to, and you know how to use that. And you've been. But
here's the thing, Lou. Even though dealers have access to it, I almost feel like dealers are powerless because they're at the mercy of all these vendors who are not playing with each other.
Come on.
who don't play well with each other, who are like, and I've had actually, like one of my dealers, he'll get on the conference call with me and he's like, Lyamen, can you guys please figure out a solution? And then of course I'm always willing to, figure out a solution. But if other vendors are not willing to, because they're trying to, they're afraid of protecting, their market share, dealers are there saying like, I don't know what else to do. It's like, what do I do? Like, I have no other options. And dealers are actually hurting because of all of this.
You're right. But what I love about this is that we're talking about it. And I think the more that we talk about this issue, the better it's going to be fixed. And I'm now that I know, because, obviously we're kind of new in the vendor world for us, and to hear these types of stories, and I've been hearing a lot about them. I definitely want to speak about it. Just like, everything that I speak about, I want to bring light to it. And I want to make sure that people understand, maybe we could find a way for unity between all vendors, right? We'll make it happen.
Well, and that's the complete culture of Bruin Solutions. That's what we want to make sure gets happening, is that we get relaxed and energized at the same time, have a cup of coffee and a conversation that's constructive for everybody's business to be upshifted and uplifted. Inside of that, there is a language. Inside of that, there is a leading of the culture by way of language. You understand what that's like probably better than most. As a refugee, as one that had to build a community and was positioned in a community where people understood the language, it helped you to grab your footing in the United States in order for you to thrive properly, right? You were grouped together with people that you understood the language of. They understood your culture. They understood the heartbeat, and they also understood collectively the value that we had here to be able to thrive greatly. You experienced that.
Right.
And that is something that you're permeating now into the automotive industry, where that language is beginning to be spoken, where you want everything to talk to each other. That's the problem with most softwares, is that they don't talk to each other right. They bounce off. And even in scripture, when languages were broken apart, that's when everybody went in different directions. If they could assemble their language together and all be in one accord, they can accomplish anything. That's scripture. It says they can accomplish anything because they're unified. And that never changed. The thing that has to happen now is people like you jumping into the market, disrupting things up, telling people what is going to scathe them a little bit. They'll be like, what are you talking about? You don't know this business like I know this business. No, you know the old business. I'm trying to tell you about where your business is now. And you bring that with such thunder, and it's exciting.
It is exciting.
But I know that you've taken a couple hits on the chin. I know that you've taken a couple slugs to the gut, right?
I mean, here's the thing. I'm having a lot of fun, doing this. And luckily, I don't have kids. So, like, this is my baby. And so I'm relentless. I'm like a dog with a bone. Like, good luck taking the bone away from me. And, it's been a lot of fun. And actually, I was thinking about it the other day, that I've had a tremendous support in automotive. Like, even though there are a few Johns around, overall, the automotive industry has been extremely supportive of what we're doing. Especially there's been so many, male, people that I've met who actually came out and said, Lyamen, how can I help you? And who are my allies and who would help make introductions. And if it wasn't for them, I would have not known who's who, because all these vendors are really bad at their own marketing. So just by browsing on the internet, I can't figure out who does what. And so I do seriously. And so, like, I've been so fortunate. I think automotive is just one of the most amazing, fun industries. It's something that I would have never in a million years would have thought about, because, who thinks about car sales? Here I'm in Seattle, there's Amazon who is trying to hire me. I have Microsoft, and there's Google, there's all these companies, like, why would I ever think about a car dealership? But, car dealerships, one is I have so many amazing clients. They've been just so supportive and just would do anything for us. And, like who just going out and post things on social media without even me asking them to do it. Yep. And, other vendors and other, associations, they've just been so supportive. And there's so much fun. Like, I always joke around, like when I go to Vegas with my Microsoft, friends, even though, yes, Microsoft has a lot of money and they'll do, huge conferences, everything's paid for, but all these Microsoft guys are just kind of socially awkward, standing there at the nightclub. We're like popping bottles, at the table and like, those are my people.
Yeah, ain't no party like a car guy party.
No, there's no doubt about it, but you definitely, you're bringing a fresh feel to it. And we need that. We need it. There's a big shift, change, pivot, whatever you want to call it. There's a change going on right now. That's right. And the more that we can have people like you, the more we can have diversity in this industry, the more that we can have people that aren't the normal come in here and change it up and make people have, again, different filters for what they're perceiving now, and showing that it can be done differently and actually way better and actually more profitable and actually all the above. Right? It just keeps going and going.
That's the key. You're going to be more profitable. So you're not going to lose market share. You're actually going to be more profitable. Can we just start talking about digital transformation, not digital retail? Like you guys with the microphones, you have the platform. Can you guys please just start doing me a favor? And can we always talk about digital transformation?
Yes.
I have that written down. So if you want us to use that as the big word of the year, we'll make that the digital transformation.
Digital retail is just a checkout process. It's digital transformation. What dealerships need to go through is transform everything they do to the cloud, to how, and by the way, the cloud means, all the software providers are actually integrating with each other. And, it's providing a complete solution instead of a point solution. Like, dealerships, they want complete solution. That's the only way they're going to beat Carvanas of the world, the Rooms of the world, and, actually increase their profitability. Like dealerships profitability is, besides this year is weird, but usually, before that, dealership profitability was going down. COVID has just completely messed up everybody's numbers. So dealers are actually doing really well right now, because of the lack of inventory. But dealers could be so much more efficient, possibly even operating with fewer people at their stores, selling more cars, selling at a higher profit margins. Like there's just so many benefits of doing digital transformation. So
100% agree. That, folks, is a solutionary dropping some serious bombs. She is making sure that you guys are understanding the importance of seeing transformation coming. I just keep seeing my friend Alex Flores standing on the stage saying, who's ready to be transformed? Who's ready for transformation? That's the kind of clarion call that I'm feeling right now, that there has to be a digital transformation. We are so behind.
That would be a heck of a name for a conference or a convention.
Digital transformation conference.
Oh, that's
my goodness gracious.
Oh my God.
Seriously, now that I see it like pop up, when I saw it pop up on the screen after I typed it in, I was like, that was a place for everyone, all types of digital people, like everything, a transformation where it's like almost like a Tony Robbins event where people in there and their minds are getting blown by just amazing talks. And
so my goodness, there's a conference, digital transformation, and vendors are getting on a stage and talking about how they're actually making sure that they're helping dealerships go through digital transformation, how they're actually integrating with others and providing dealerships with complete solutions instead of a point solution. It's putting everybody on a spot and saying, let's do it together. And then imagine the dealerships coming on stage and showing case studies of how they actually transformed their dealership going through digital transformation. Like, Fred, I think you guys were at the Business Bourbon and Cigar event. One of the dealerships there, was it Fred, I think? Yeah, there's another guy named Fred.
I met him.
Talked about how one of the things they've done at their dealership is they completely got rid of all of their computers, like kind of, salespeople and BDC reps, and instead they got iPads. Yeah, and what happened is now when people are walking into their dealership, first, just by them having iPads, it makes them feel like, oh my God, I just walked into this luxurious, completely different experience. And now consumers are actually not even haggling over price. They're like, yeah, it's like, that's how much the car costs. Okay, fine.
Done. Yep.
It's like you're going, that's like going to the Apple store. You see the lines outside the Apple store. You walk in, somebody's got a thing and they sit in there. They're, oh my goodness gracious. Even you could,
Exactly. They wanted to provide Apple experience. It's like going buying a Peloton. Nobody walks into a Peloton store, tries to negotiate a Peloton bike. They're like, person sitting with iPad. I'm like, okay, your order will be delivered. So you're ready to go. That's a digital transformation. Like that's what we should be all talking about, not digital retail.
I absolutely love that. And that is your quote of the night. I swear. We're going to use that. I mean, you've dropped a lot of nuggets, but I absolutely love that quote. And I think we are going to be champions of that. I got your back, girl. We'll make that happen. We will grow that. We will make, you
heard it here first.
I'm telling you, I have visions every once in a while. Lou knows my visions. Lou sees them. And a lot of my visions have come true. I see this vision. I see that happening. I see you on a stage. I see us on the stage moderating this. I see you up there talking about it. And I see people coming together. I see that John showing up, sitting there saying sorry. I see
raising his hand. Hi guys, I have a question.
Yeah, exactly. And doing it and knowing that it's going to help, right? And that's what we need to do. We need to all team up. This business needs to get over themselves. There's 17,000 freaking new dealers out there. That's not even used cars. There's plenty of independent dealers out there too. If you add it all up, there's so much business for everyone. But if the problem is, if we all did it the right way, this business will grow. There'll be more dealerships. There'll be more cars sold. There'll be more profits made. There'll be more things, but you have to do it together. And you have to make sure that you're doing it the right way, not 15 years ago the right way. We're talking about 2021, 2022 technology coming. Yeah. So amazing. Gosh, this has been a great conversation.
Such a great conversation. There is something about just the simple task of digging a hole, folks. We can do it with our hands, but a shovel makes it easier. A backhoe then makes it easier than that, right? Utilizing the technologies that are available for us doesn't necessarily mean that we change the task at hand. We still just want to deliver our product whole and to the customer in a way that they like it. What you're doing is simplifying the process. You're closing the gap of the bloated ad budget, the bloated expenses that are spent on things that sometimes they don't even know what they do. They don't even know that we're spending the money, right? There's so many years that they're scratching things off of the bottom line they want gone, but they also don't even know what's creating the profit where they're at now. They're so antiquated, so behind understanding that there's tools there that can just put everything inside of a dialed form. But these are hard lessons. A lot of dealers had to learn such hard lessons that they've had to learn. And they were a lot of them just pushed into saying, okay, give me the solution. Just give me the shot. Let me figure this out right now. I need that. Right. But for you, coming to where it is that you are now, going through all the things that you have gone through to get where it is that you are today, to be the solutionary that you are, bringing the solutions to the dealers and the industry that you are, what has been the hardest lesson that Lyamen has had to learn getting to where it is that you are today?
The hardest lesson, oh my goodness. I don't think it was a lesson more than, the whole OEM process of becoming OEM approved vendors as a website provider. That is the craziest thing I've ever experienced in my life, because it's the chicken or the egg dilemma. OEMs, in order for them to approve you, the first question they ask is, how many of our dealers use you? I'm like, they're not allowed to, remember? So it's almost like these OEMs are preventing their dealers from actually innovating, because they're preventing companies, who actually have a really cool solution. So unless you're actually from automotive and you have all those relationships with OEMs and you have all the relationships with the middlemen, there's no way you're going to get approved. But that's only, again, hurting dealerships.
Yes.
And so it's not even the lesson that I learned. It's just something shocking that I've never experienced in any other industry before. It's like, it just doesn't make any sense.
Right. It's the politic pause, right? Where everything has to stay still until the politics line up, right? Where real solutions can happen now. Dealers that are trying to save their businesses can save their business when they're inspired by somebody else that has a solution to activate on it, but they can't move if there's chains on their hands, right? They can't move if somebody else makes decisions for them. As a provider like you, it is worth it for you to go through what you went through. Because I can only imagine you wouldn't be able to, some of the dealers wouldn't be seeing the success that they're having had you not persevered, pushed through, jumped over those hurdles, re-answered the emails, right? Gone ahead and thrown a pen, crumpled up a piece of paper, or asked yourself a question or two, like, what the heck is wrong with them? Why are we getting in our own way? And a lot of times, again, that's what we do to ourselves. Sometimes we do shoot ourselves in the foot. That's why we got to forgive it. We got to wipe it off, focus on what we can do. And now you're flying.
One of my favorite case studies is one of the dealerships we work with. Since they went live with us, because we've generated so many leads for them, they actually reduced their car growth budget from $10,000 to only $1,000 per month. Because now they're getting so many more sales from the website. And you'll be amazed. Like a lot of times when I talk to dealerships, I'm like, how many sales do you get from your website? And there've been actually quite a few dealers who actually said, we don't get deals from our website. We just get them when they're walking through our showroom or through Marketplace.
Wow.
I'm like, exactly. You're not getting them from your website because your website is such a hot mess.
Yes.
You shouldn't be closing business from your dealership website. And
Yes.
and so, like, to your point about, being efficient, like, dealerships, they could be saving money on advertising. They could be increasing their gross profit. They could be selling cars a lot faster and everything just by offering a better customer experience. Digital transformation.
Come on. That's what I'm talking about. Car guys, car gals, put that inside of your cup. Sip on that. A digital transformation is coming. We are declaring and decreeing that right now.
Oh, it is.
I mean, you are lighting
That is
up, girl.
that is the word of the decade getting ready to happen. Digital transformation. Every one of you dealers out there, vendors out there, car guys, car gals out there. It is time for a transformation in the digital world. And I promise you, we're going to bring it to you. We're going to bring it from the solutionary side. We're going to bring it from the 3, 2, 1 ignition side. It's going to be so many people. Lyman's going to launch off and show you guys the way, because she's speaking some truth here. She comes from a world that is not automotive. She comes from a world that is digital. And that's what she loves to do. She's all about the tech. And when she brings it into this business, she showed up and she's like, you know what? I need to be in this business because look, they're way behind. There's a solution here for me. I'm a solutionary. I have a problem that I can solve. I'm brewing solutions for the automotive industry, and I'm going to make sure you guys catch up. And when you do, it's going to change y'all's lives. And I appreciate you for doing that for us. And I really do. I'm so glad that you came into this. I'm so glad it came by chance that you went to your friend's dealership. Look at you. Look where you're at. You're in this industry, and you're going to be somebody that is you're a keynote speaker in our industry. You are somebody that people are hearing the future from, and we need to hear the future. It's actually not the future right now, and that's what's so crazy. It's happening. I
appreciate all you guys' support. You guys have been so amazing and so supportive, and I'm so grateful to meet you guys.
Well, it's two-way street. It's a two-way street, and we appreciate you and your energy and in your team. Your team's amazing. I love having meetings with y'all. It's always been it's always fun. I always leave there energized when I have speaks with you guys. So I appreciate that. So let's get to this fifth question. So this fifth and final question that we have for you tonight, it's about all the stuff. So, we talked about what drives you. We talked about, what got you in this industry, who's helped you and mentored you through this industry, through your life, I should say, right? And then also we've just got done hearing about the greatest lesson that you learned, right, from this industry. Now, what has been the greatest reward up to this point?
Greatest award?
Yes.
Reward.
Oh. Easy. Like when I see the results we could deliver to dealerships, I mean, like the numbers are so huge that they're literally almost not believable. Like the numbers, when dealerships switch to us, they see like 500% increase in their lead volume, like 400%. Like usually if you can increase your lead volume by 30, 20%, like, okay, you're doing pretty good. But these numbers are so huge. I remember one of my customers, when we launched their site, the GM, he sends me messages and he's like, Lyman, we already received this many leads from our website just today. He's like, I've never seen this many leads from the website before in my entire life. And like, this guy has been in automotive for a very long time. So like, because I'm such a results oriented person, nothing makes me more excited than to see like my dealerships, my customers thrive. Like, you never want to be in an industry where you're just another Me Too product and you're just, just another thing. But like to see that our actual dealership, how we're helping their business is just, it's the most rewarding thing for me. Like I can't even explain to you guys how happy it makes me.
And it's obvious all over your face, the excitement that you have in bringing that value to people.
Yes.
And that's exactly what the industry needs, is people that are passionate about standing in front of their product in a way that is honorable, right? So many times I have my certain opinion of certain things. If you're standing in front of the Lambo, you probably should either be selling it, but definitely not renting it, right? Unless you're just going for a ride.
If you're in Vegas, you just want to go for a Lambo ride.
You want to do that? That's cool. But when you stand in front of your product the way that you do, that's better than the Lambo. That's better than the Maybach, right? That's better than the tangible product. You standing in front of the solutions that you actually bring, and confidently standing your ground, that it doesn't matter whether or not you guys actually believe that what I'm telling you is the truth. I'm telling you the truth, and the truth doesn't have to apologize for anybody's misunderstandings, right? That's something that we have to make sure that when we're bringing solutions to people, remember, if it's truly a solution in the convictions of our heart understand that this is the solution for the problem. We can't take it personal if people don't accept it. We can't feel as though we're failing if they don't get it, right? It's so important that we continue to sing the song, we continue to beat the drum, we continue to keep the conversation going. And that's something that you do, and you don't just do it, you do it from stage to a private Zoom call to text messages and meetings with some of the greatest people in the industry. That's how you found your way to us. That's how we found our way to you, right? By being on a road where we are shouting loud, we're better together. It's important that the languages come together. The forces come together. The Avengers unite.
Yes.
Right.
We all have different superpowers.
Rise.
And if we unite, we become greater. And that's facts. I love that.
Total facts. And we just honor you and thank you so much for being the person that you are to bring these solutions. But we're just getting started. It is just begun. People are just finally getting out, right? Just finally starting to really integrate new solutions into their dealerships, because there's going to be a settling, right? The bloated inventories, we're starting to see that as being something wasn't as needed. The bloated ad budgets, not quite as needed. Making connections with people on a real level, that's where we've been missing it. And people have been able to do in the digital world, selling high ticket items of air, of nothing. And we actually in the automotive industry have some of the most highest ticket items there are. Greatest commission pay plans there are. And we have been behind, but now people like you are literally hitting that ignition switch and getting the engine started that's going to take this industry to the next level. And we are so excited to be on the ride with you. Thank you so much for being with us tonight, Lyamen.
Thanks, guys. It was fun.
No, I'm glad you had fun. We had a blast. I'm so glad we did this. I learned so much more about you, what drives you, and where you're going. I honestly am honored that you were here today, humbled by your presence, and we cannot wait to see and meet you again. I'm looking forward to seeing what's going down. I know that you've had all these events coming up with these speeches. I can't wait to watch them. They're going to be great. The more you do them, the better they're going to get to. And the more that we talk about this digital transformation, and the more we talk about people getting together and getting over themselves and just trying to make sure that this business gets better, the faster it will happen, and the better chances for all of us. Because if we keep going the direction that this business has been going, it's going to be all 100% digital, and there's not going to be anybody involved except for computers, right? It's going to be a Carvana world. It's going to be the Vroom world. So we need our dealerships to survive, and the only way dealerships survive is they're going to have to jump into the world of digital transformation.
Let me add to that tagline to say digital transformation, customer first.
Which is always how business should have been. That's the thing. We're not trying to really get back or create anything new. Trying to get back to central focus and remove the fluff in between.
Yeah,
right?
We always need to think about it. At the end of the day, our customers are dealers and consumers. We can't prevent them from innovating. We have to help them to innovate and disrupt and, survive, quite frankly.
I love it.
She just keeps bringing it, bro.
She brings the heat everywhere she goes.
That's right.
No, we really, seriously, what a great night this has been. I know that we've gone almost an hour and a half.
Yeah, seriously.
That's how amazing this was. Sorry, I know how valuable your time is, but we can't help but keep asking, and you keep bringing, so we're going to keep listening, and we appreciate you, and I know that my audience really appreciates you. I'm looking forward to doing some more. I know we're going to have another they're going to be on the podcast again soon. We're going to have us with you. We're going to have Volley. We're going to have Dealership Toolkit. All of us will have a quick little pep rally here in a couple weeks. We'll be announcing all that stuff on social media soon, but I'm so excited to unite with you and get better together and go out and try to save the world. These independent dealers in Texas have no idea what's getting ready to happen.
We're coming.
They're going to have a great time, and they're going to learn some great stuff, and we're going to talk about this digital transformation when we're down there, and it's going to be great. I'm excited. Let's team up and let's coach this up. We need a collab on this digital transformation stuff. I want to figure out how we can help out with that and make it bigger too for you. Okay,
let's do it.
Well,
folks,
this has been an incredible evening here on the Car Guy Coffee Podcast. The brew has been special in a whole different way. And if you are just now tuning in or you've been watching the entire time, thank you so much. Go back, rewind, listen, share if you care. Tag a car guy, tag a car gal. Let them know that this inspirational brew is worth them sipping on. This has been such a great night. I have been blessed. I am better. And I am telling you, I am upshifted and uplifted because of the incredible solutionary we've had here tonight. I am Lou Ramirez, the car guy.
And I'm Fred Lenartz, the subprime hero.
And we have been brewing solutions with the CEO and founder of 321 Ignition, the one, the only, Lyamen Savy.
Woo!
Thank you so much for joining us tonight. We love you all.
Go out and be the best version of yourselves and understand it takes a team. Don't just listen to yourself. Go out and find people out there doing it and learn from them. That was a great tip she gave, folks. Get you a board of people that you could just say, hey, these are my board of advisors, folks.
Yes.
And this is what I got, So, hey, that's what we do. We all are our own CEOs of our own selves. So make sure that you do that and you treat your life like that. So that was a great tip. Thank you for that tonight also.
Welcome.
Lyman, how do people get a hold of you if they need to get a hold of you?
I'm on LinkedIn. I mean, I'm very easy to find because my name is so unique. There's only one Lyamen Savy in the world. So you could always find me on LinkedIn. You could find me on Facebook, on Instagram, or even go to 321ignition.com. And our phone number, everything is there. So I'm very easily, you could find me. Or just email me at Lyamen. It's Lyamen at 321ignition.com. That's my personal email address.
Well, fantastic. Car guys, car gals, you know the deal. Make sure that you are forgiving, focusing, and flying. This is almost the end of a July month in 2021, and we have been brewing solutions with some of the best women in automotive, and the brews are coming, and they keep getting better. We are so blessed to have the incredible Lyamen Savy with us tonight. Thank you so much. Please share it around, and thank you for another incredible brew. Good night, everybody.
Love y'all.